The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join host Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina as they serve up the hottest photography news and commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 199. I'm Joseph Cristina here with my co-host Trevor Current. On last week's show, we talked about PMA's Innovation Now Summit, Canon's EOS C100 Mark II, and their XA10 HD video recorder. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at digitalphotographycafe.com and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dphotocafe. Listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox music apps, or subscribe through iTunes or RSS.
Hey, we are back. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing well. I am doing really good. Ready to put this show together this week. How's everything over there?
Oh, going good. Keeping busy as usual, which is great. It's better than the alternative, right? We always say.
Absolutely. We got to pay the bills.
That's right.
Right? Or the wifeys will not be happy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. So, today, I don't know what shirt you got on. I'm trying to see over there. I actually have my Spider-Man shirt on today, we're doing the little Marvel thing.
Yeah, no, not today. I am not wearing a superhero shirt today. I am wearing just my plain old, gray, long sleeve shirt because it's a little cool up here today.
Yeah, when I asked, normally you have Batman on.
Yes, Batman. Yes, we like the Batman.
Yeah, I know. So, guys, we're going to kind of get into some of the folks that we saw involved with PhotoPlus Expo NYC this year, which was a big showing. About, they're saying over 20,000, I think 21,000 attendees this year. It's always a really good show. I know we've actually covered the show many years, and we've had booths there where we've broadcast live from the show at the Javits Center and a lot of other cool stuff. But I think this show would be more kind of like a wrap-up of what transpired and what was there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I always like going into PhotoPlus. It's local for me. It's a few hours away. I can be in the city in no time and check it out. So it's always a great show. The show is changing for sure. I don't want to say for the worse or for the better, but just different. It's evolving. Right. And, as we see these traditional trade shows and these traditional events kind of either survive or fail, this one is surviving, but they're evolving, I think, to be a little more along the lines of a consumer show as opposed to a professionals trade show.
Yeah, it feels that way. It's feeling very CES-esque.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like a lot of gadgety stuff, a lot of, it's, I still like it. I mean, it's still a great show. A lot of the big names are still going, which is very important. Unlike CES for a couple of years back then, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, things started really getting kind of problematic for the show. It wasn't doing well. And, now it's doing a little bit better, but, it's the same thing, I think, with the photo industry. They have to kind of find their way, or they go, the way of the dinosaur, as I always say. So,
right.
And I think PhotoPlus is doing a really good job at it. Obviously they're in, NYC, sitting there at the Javits Center. I mean, you can't be, in a better spot because you have such a populace right there. The only thing that's kind of a little bit different is that populace is kind of like a transient populace that kind of goes in and out, comes in and out. And some of them are pros, some of them are pro-am, some of them, there's a lot of amateurs, there's a lot of students and whatnot. Yeah. Whereas I know when we go and do the show over in Vegas at WPPI, these people are actually flying into the desert to go to that show. So you have a different type of people, a different, demographic, I would say. So
you really do. I mean, in New York, there's such a large, dense populace right in the city and right in New Jersey, right. And even in Pennsylvania. that can just come in for the day or come in for a couple days. So you really, I mean, you get more people, but you get a different level of people. You get a lot more looky-loos. The people that are going to WPPI are the professionals, and they're making that commitment because it is a destination. I mean, you're right. You're flying out into the middle of the desert. You know, you're spending 3 or 4 days there. You know, you're dropping money to be at the show, for the hotel, for food. It's a commitment. So you definitely get a different level of attendee, and those attendees from a professional standpoint, I mean, and I would say as an exhibitor, I would find to be more valuable there if I were selling professional products and services. Right. But if I were, you know, Canon or Nikon, who's producing consumer equipment as well as professional equipment, PhotoPlus is a great place to be.
No, absolutely. Or how about if you were a drone manufacturer, right? So guys, let's just kind of get it out right at the beginning. Drones are like just about all that was seen. I mean, probably 60-70% of everything was like drone this and drone that, and
some kind of RC
autonomous
thing,
this or it's a lot of that electronic type of gadget where you can strap on a small camera to and go and drive it around or fly it around or whatever. I always think it's just a funny thing when people talk about drones as being like this thing, this evil thing. It's like it's a helicopter with a camera. It's always been a helicopter with a camera, and all of a sudden they named it drone, and it has this like mystique behind it.
Yeah, this military-esque feel to it.
No, it's just a little RC. It's an RC with a little controller. That's all that it is, people. Yeah. So but drones was huge this year.
That's a huge market. I mean, everybody's excited about this type of technology. It's something that people can get in their hands and have fun with it, not just from a photography standpoint, but just flying these things around or driving these vehicles around. You know, it is fun. Oh man, I got to tell you too, bro. I got an email from Traxxas. Traxxas is an RC company. They make, you know, big 4-wheel drive trucks and race cars and things like that are RC. I have a big 4-wheel drive truck that is a lot of fun. We go out jumping it and driving through water and snow and stuff. It's a blast. Anyway, they just came out with this new one. This thing is a monster. It is like 30 inches long. It's got like 9-inch high tires. I mean, it's 4-wheel drive. It's got telemetry built into it.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, so it will actually transmit onboard data back to the RC handheld. And you can connect that with your smartphone via Bluetooth and actually get speed and temperatures and battery, you know, life and all this really awesome stuff. It's amazing where they're going.
Yeah, so I think the government should regulate these like they do drones, because who knows, maybe you can stick like a bomb onto this and go with telemetry, go drive it around and actually drive it with your iPhone or iPad and know exactly where it is. And
no lie, you could.
Yeah, I know.
That and you know, obviously this is always a concern with the drones of any type, is what people are going to misuse them for. So but hugely popular at PhotoPlus for sure.
Huge.
Everywhere you turned, you were getting buzzed by one.
That and 4K, people. 4K this, 4K that. 4K, you know, small point and shoots, 4K phone, right? We talk about iPhone, you know, 4K
monitors, 4K TVs.
Monitors, right?
Yep.
So, and that's, I mean, it was really interesting on where 4K is going. I think that it's very interesting, but I think that it's you know, there's a very small shelf life to that, because 8K is already there. You know, we have 5 and 6K. That's already out. 8K is right around the corner, and they're pushing this 4K like it's the next best thing to slice bread. Whereas it is and it isn't. But you know, a lot of this mirrorless, you know, they were talking about with the 4K, but that's what it is, right? Mirrorless, 4K, and drones. You put it all together like the Trinity. That's the popular stuff. I mean, that's what's trending right now. I mean, years ago it was DSLR HD video, and it was HDR images, you know, and all those gadgets that go onto the HD, you know, the DSLR HD video capture, you know, all the rigs, all the rigs, focus pullers, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And now, as this technology is changing as well, I mean, you saw, I mean, the Canon Canon C100 that you used. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's absolutely more expensive than a DSLR, but I mean, from a video standpoint, it blows a DSLR away.
Yeah.
You know, constant autofocus and stuff. I mean, but as DSLR technologies change and we have that constant autofocus and we have the ability to manual focus, you're going to start seeing a lot of these accessory manufacturers also going by the wayside because there isn't going to be the need for the focus rigs and stuff like that as much, you know?
Just not. I mean, you know, talking about that C100, I mean, when we were at Innovation Now and I was capturing footage using that camera for video, the footage was so razor sharp, so crystal clear, guys, that Trevor ended up using some of my video, just pulling out clips from my video to use as stills for his stuff for the actual website, instead of just using camera shots that were actually people were shooting there at the event. That's how good this video is. Now, like I was talking about last week, it's actually capturing 4K video, or as it's capturing, and then churning it down with the Digix processors down to a 1080p final image. So you can't take that raw 4K out of it. It only gives you 1080, but it's capturing 4K and then just crunching it and just doing its
doing the onboard crunching. Yep,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, it was really good. As any event photographer knows, it's not always easy to get the best shot.
Right.
But as Joe, the videographer, knows, he had the best seat in the house. Yeah. So I knew that if I couldn't find a good still image from any of the photographers roaming the floor, I knew that I could go into the video and at least pull a solid, just, you know, find a section in the video, scrub it frame by frame until I got just that right expression, you know, in the middle of a laugh or something. So it looked like they were smiling, and just basically grabbed it right out and I could use it. And being used on the website smaller, you know, it had a good feel, but, you know, we're not looking for the super high quality, you know, 2000 pixel wide image that you're going to pop open on screen, you know?
Yeah. So one of the companies that exhibited there, of course, would be Epson. And Epson's been around for absolutely forever as far as printing goes. And I tell you, as for me, I love Epson. I mean, I've used Canon, I've used many other printers, even for high-end stuff. I've used some of the, for example, on the Epson side, the big wide format 41-inch, like a P9000 or whatnot. There's just something about Epson's ink that is just second to none. And normally, you know, for years and years and years, we've always said, hey, you know, you print with the Epson and you know you're going to have a 100-year type of lifespan. That's what they always gave you on their inks. Well, that kind of increased, I guess, as of the show. That we were kind of, we're like, wow, we're kind of blown away, right? They're up to what now?
I know they're up to like 400 years of permanence with these inks now. You know, so the blacks are like super dense. The colors are super vibrant, and they're lasting. I mean, obviously, you're not going to stick it out in daylight, or you're going to stick it in front of a bright window and get 400 years. But you know, under normal lighting circumstances, internal walls, you know, hanging artwork up. I mean, their tests are showing 400 years. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's going to last generations and generations of family members for artwork that you might create.
Yeah, so, you know, talking about artwork, you know, I do fine art photography, and I'll show in galleries on occasion. And all of my prints are always 40 by 60, and they're always chemical prints. Right. They're not this type of, you know, ink that's blown onto paper. Right. And that's just the way I've always done it. Moving into these new inks that Epson has, it gives me a possibility to kind of move from my chemical prints into this type of ink. So
they are beautiful.
They're very vibrant. They're beautiful. The density on that black is just unbelievable. I mean, if you look at the density on the black of the Epson in comparison to the density on the blacks of the Canon, and I have put them side by side, there's no comparison. Right. One is almost like a greenish, muted, grayish kind of muddy for the most part, whereas the Epson is just thick. it's dense. The pigment is unbelievable. So, I mean, I've always liked it. So seeing that they were there and they were showing and the wide formats, just love it. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, their new Short Color P series printers that they have out now are really sweet. They've got a bunch of new papers that they just introduced as well for really new textures and new type of ink absorption, the way it handles the light and the reflection and the feel. I mean, literally the feel, the texture that you get out of it. Really cool stuff. If you're in the market for a printer for doing in-house client artwork, let's say, definitely give them a look. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or find a service bureau that uses Epson printers and try them out.
Yeah, try it out. That's what I did. And I was definitely pleased.
Yeah, for sure.
To say the least. So we also saw Black Magic there. Black Magic, their product line, I really, really like a lot. They do some incredible stuff. Obviously, I do both video, obviously you guys know, video and photo for years. But on the video side, they do some really, really amazing products. And one of them is their capture. And, for me, like we were talking about doing the innovation now, just a few minutes ago. At the time, let's say if this event happened and I had to capture 2 days of video, 13 hours of video, what I would do is I would get like a Blackmagic and I would offload the video directly onto it as a recorder. This is kind of like a recorder as well as an external video, external monitor. And we would record it onto that and maybe put it, export it into ProRes, so we don't even have to do any kind of interpolation when we bring it in. We can edit right away.
Right.
And it's all done. It's into that hard drive, and then you can go download it later. This time going out, the new C100 allowed for 128 gigabyte SD card. I only needed 2 to capture the entire 2 days.
Right.
I didn't need it, but I tell you what, these devices are unbelievable.
Yeah, well, their Video Assist product, which is basically that 5-inch monitor, HD monitor, which is beautiful. It's a touch screen, so you can control your camera and stuff from that, and a recorder that records onto SD, and like you said, in that ProRes format. So that's really cool. It also has the HDMI output. So if you wanted to connect that into a projector, so let's say you were doing a live event. Like a pass-through. Yeah, a pass-through. So if you were doing a live event and you wanted to record on board, you wanted to record off board, onto this monitor, and you could pass that through to a projector or a big screen. So really neat equipment. It has both SDI and HDMI, so it meets multiple needs there, and it runs off camcorder batteries, just rechargeable camcorder batteries.
So and they're hot swappable, so you can just kind of pull one out and stick another one in. You never have to worry about it going down. But yeah, that pass-through capability is perfect because, like you're saying, we would be able to capture onto the SD cards on the camera, capture onto SD onto the actual unit itself, right?
Yep.
We can then pass it through and then put it up on a screen for the people that are in the room to see. As an assist, let's say, especially if it's a big room.
Yep.
So yeah, this one little device, and I think they're like under $500.
I know.
It has so much value. It's just unbelievable,
I tell you what, years ago, I set up my Mac Pro. I had mentioned before, I've got an old 2006 Mac Pro. And years ago, when it was still relatively new, I was prepping that thing to record HD video to drive. So I had built out an internal RAID. I was getting like massive throughput. It was awesome, and used a Blackmagic Intensity card inside the computer that I was able to take the HDMI out of my camcorder and dump it right in there and grab uncompressed HDMI. And can I tell you, that was beautiful. I mean, it needed, it used a lot of data. You needed those fast hard drives and stuff, but the quality was just amazing. And at the time, they were kind of one of the big players in this. And they have definitely evolved their product line. Now they've got this micro cinema camera, which is really cool too. It's like the tiny little camera, like a GoPro size camera, that is really designed for your drones and, you know, other small applications. But it's kind of like a GoPro on steroids, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like GoPro on crack. Absolutely. I was looking at this camera and it's really, really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. It's sitting at about $900 and change, $1,000. Let's just call it, guys. But what I really like about it, it shoots on a Super 16 sensor, so it does 1080p HD. But it gives you 13 stops of light and dynamic range. So you could shoot in the dark with this thing. Up to, I think it's like ISO 1600. But what's really incredible, guys, that is worth every single penny is, I'm sure most of you that have shot DSLRs in the past, you know that if you are shooting something that is moving a lot in the frame, what happens? It turns into jello, right? The cello effect, as we call it. It's a rolling shutter effect. Okay, and that's just basically on how the camera is capturing each frame by frame. So what happens is in a rolling shutter, it's capturing segments, little portions, and then building it and putting it together for each frame separately, right? And during that build process, if things are moving around a lot, you start getting like shaky, like kind of like skewed images and wobbly type of jello type effect. With a global shutter, and that's what this Blackmagic Micro Cinema camera has, that global shutter will capture frame by frame, an entire frame, so frame by frame by frame, right across the entire, and you end up not having this rolling shutter.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, for video, this is just perfect. And if you want to do something with, that's similar to a GoPro, you attach this, it's teeny tiny, onto one of those drones, or we'll call it a helicopter, and you'll get some amazing footage. So I like this unit. This is very, very cool.
Yeah, very cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so anyways, Trev, we got to get moving on to a break. But when we get back, we got a lot more for you guys. So we will be right back. The 3-in-1 Photo Reference Tool is a versatile, all-in-one color reference accessory designed to help you dial in white balance, exposure, and color temperature. With its 37 anti-reflective color reference tiles, both photographer and videographer can take complete control over their color workflow. The front side features 19 color tiles. The large 18% gray card with center target makes autofocus lockup easy while providing fast in-camera custom white balance and single-click color correction in post-production. The 6-step exposure gradient provides perfect tonal reproduction, balancing highlights with deep, rich blacks in every image. Its 12 tiles of primary, processed, and standard skin tone colors are perfect for digital reference. On the backside of the 3-in-1 Photo Reference Tool, you will find 18 custom tiles. 6-step exposure gradient including an 18% gray tile, perfect for dialing in exposure and neutralizing color temperature in post-production. And finally, perfect for the portrait photographer, a unique 12-step gradient unlike any other color reference tool, allowing warming, cooling, and neutralizing color with a single click. From in-camera to post-production, the 3-in-1 Photo Reference Tool helps push your creativity to the next level, providing complete color control over all your imaging creations. Grab one today from your local camera dealer or visit our website at jcristina.com.
All right, so we're back. So in addition to all the really cool hardware and stuff that we saw there was also software, and software even along the lines of mobile apps, iOS and Android, which is kind of surprising that, companies would spend the money to be at Javits, which is very expensive to exhibit there, for mobile apps that are either free or like have a freemium model or low cost. You think about ROI, right? But there was quite a few of them there, and one of them was an app called Forpedo, and Forpedo 2, it's a second version that's out now. Kind of cool what this is. This is like a free app you download, you install, and then there's the upgrades that you can purchase. But it's like they provide guides on shooting locations.
It's like a virtual tour guide.
Yeah, like a virtual tour guide, and it's really funny on their website. If you scroll down on the homepage, there's a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. And when we were out
familiar.
there, yeah. When we were out there, and we told you the story about our Uber driver giving us a tour. He took us to one of those spots up on the hill, and Joe and I both have almost the exact same photo.
Yeah, literally the exact spot on this hill.
I know, it was so funny. I was
bridge.
like, "Hey, that looks familiar."
Yeah,
but
so they're definitely doing their job in getting folks to the precise spots, the best locations. And that Uber driver, he took us. He said, "This is where you need to be. This is where you need to take the shot. This is your best shot." And that's the exact same shot that's sitting on the front page. So kudos over to Frapito.
Yeah, for finding these locations. So, everything is map-based, of course, with GPS. So you can find your location. And again, you've heard this before, built by photographers for photographers. But it is true, right? They find the good spots to shoot and tag them within these guides so you can find them. And now you go to those spots. Maybe you don't want to take the exact same picture. Maybe you want to twist it up a little bit and all, but it gets you into a good location.
Yeah, not bad at all. So it's a Google Play application as well as a App Store application for Apple iPhone, and it's free. You can go download it for free. So definitely you can go and take a quick look.
Check that out.
So moving on. Yeah, moving on. Tether Tools. We love the guys over there at Tether Tools. A lot of fun, very cool products. It's definitely product-based, little... I don't want to call them tchotchkes because they're over-the-top tchotchkes. They're high-end products that are specifically crafted to solve a problem. And that's really what I like about them. A lot of us photographers will use, matter of fact, they're fluorescent orange cables that you would hook up into, let's say, your Canon or your Nikon to shoot tethered. That's like one of their mainstays. It's just an awesome product. It doesn't pull out. If you've shot tethered in the past, you know what happens. It either pulls out of your camera. Now you have to go and resync, or it pulls out hard enough and it ruins the internals of the camera, and you have to go and send it back to Canon or Nikon to go have the internal USB fixed. So this kind of solves that. But they have those type of products, and their newest stuff is these attachments, almost like the GoPro type of attachments, but they do them right?
Yeah, they've got these rapid mount. One of them is an SLX, another one is a Q20. They're basically like multi-surface mounts that you can stick to the wall, stick to a table, stick to whatever you want. And they actually have like a removable adhesive that you can literally stick these things anywhere and mount a flash to it or mount a small camera to it, a little GoPro, put a phone on it if you want to do like a little BTS and have the phone maybe over your shoulder or something while you're shooting. Really cool stuff from that standpoint. They've got, clamps, different types of holding devices, their easy grip kit is like this really cool clamp with a quarter 20 hot shoe, or a cold shoe mount on it, just for putting your accessories up. They've got vacuum mounts. They've got this one, it's called Rock Solid Power Grip, and it's probably one of the leading vacuum mounts. So you'd put it like on the hood of a car or on a windshield or something like that for a little camera. Really, that's the type of stuff they have. Bro, I remember meeting with them back when they first started. I believe it was PhotoPlus Expo. And they were one of the first people to really get into this tethering business kind of in a big way. And they were definitely, if not the first, one of the first to do iPad tethering.
Right.
And using your iPad as that external monitor. And they had all kinds of really cool mounts for the iPads and stuff.
Gadgets. And
I remember, and they have beautiful mounts like the brushed aluminum and stuff.
You remember their line list? There's probably like maybe 10 items, or it's very very small, 20 items. Now they probably have hundreds of items.
Yeah, they got a whole catalog full of stuff.
They are working hard at coming up with of stuff. And that vacuum mount. You've seen them. We've used them. You attach them to a side of a car. You get tire rotations. You can get all kinds of stuff. You can put them to helmets, whatever. They got a lot of cool stuff.
Right.
So
for sure.
Back into software, right? We saw a company called MacFun, And once again, like you're saying, a software company. Now, we know how much these booth costs, right?
Yeah.
Because, like we said, we have broadcast live from these places in the past. I mean, electric alone is staggering. Booths are $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 or more.
Yep.
That's for a small, teeny tiny booth, guys. So these companies are betting the farm, especially these smaller, kind of up and coming software companies. They're literally betting the farm on this.
Yeah,
stuff.
some of the other companies out there. I mean, MacFun is definitely one of those companies, though. They've been around for a while.
Right.
They've got Mac-specific software that, not PC software.
Right.
We've actually talked about some of their products on the show before. I think one of them being Snap-Heal.
Yes.
But what they've done is they've actually come out with what they're calling their Creative Kit 2016. So they've got a bunch of standalone pieces of software that were always really great tools, but really for a specific task. Right. So what they've done now is kind of combine all of their tools into a unified installer and an easier to use interface that makes it easier to bring your images between each piece of software without having to save and then open another app and go into that app and manipulate it and then save it, go into another app. Now you can kind of go between all of these tools much easier.
Right. It's like an Adobe Creative Suite type
kind
of
of
thing.
like the Adobe Creative Suite.
Right,
Exactly.
where you're putting everything into one package so you can do all of your editing using this specific software.
Right.
Never have to leave. So some of the items that they have in there is focus, noiseless, tonality, there's a whole bunch. Snap-Heal is one that we definitely have talked about in the past, and that did an amazing, it's like content aware, guys, but content aware it just simply works really, really well.
It's designed to do one thing, and it does it really, really good.
Yeah. So just figure content aware. Snap-Heal is just wonderful. It really does a good job.
And their whole suite integrates with Apple's Photos application. So, Apple killed Aperture. Really, the only other mainstream management system is Lightroom.
Yeah, second to Lightroom.
Right. But, Photos is not claiming to be Aperture, although it is designed for extensibility. And with this integration, you can kind of, if you want to go down this road, you can kind of utilize Photos for your cataloging and your management and such. And you can use the integrated MacFun software, their Creative Kit, to actually do your manipulation, to do your edits.
Yeah, I think Apple decided to go down that route, so they didn't so they didn't have to do the actual R&D on, let's say Aperture any longer. By having that integration, they can have companies like MacFun create suites of product that integrate directly with Apple Photos, and do it well. And they probably provide a fantastic back-end API or whatever that's doing to be able to do that direct integration into it. So, I mean, I would like to have seen Apple continue with Aperture, but since they didn't, by giving this ability for these third parties to be able to have such tight integration, this makes it so much better. Because in the past, you would have to export and then use these type of tools, and then when you're done with it, import them back, and then export, and then import. It was just kind of kludgy.
Yeah,
now that kludge is gone,
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a lot easier, for sure. So now this one is interesting. This company is interesting. They're a company called PackPod, and they started life kind of with a Kickstarter campaign. And we must have missed this one. I don't know how we missed this one, but we never talked about this. We usually
pick up the Kickstarter, the photo Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we really like, when we find a good Kickstarter project that's photo or video related, I mean, we certainly like to talk about it. I love inventions. I love creativity. I love innovation. And
I kind of like inventions myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So this company, PackPod, they came up with this tripod. I don't even want to call it a tripod. It's like a tripod, I guess. But it is designed to be very lightweight, rugged, freeze proof. But what's really cool about it is they have these stakes at the bottoms of the legs that can actually be stuck into the ground. When you look at their videos and you go to their website and stuff too, and some of the photography that they show, they actually, this one shot, they show it spread out, stuck into like the bottom of the ocean floor. With
guys, it looks like a spider almost, the way it comes out. It's just really, really interesting looking. And it looks high end. It looks like billet aluminum.
Yeah.
The design on it is really nice, really nice. The one photograph that makes me laugh on their site is since we know that it has these let's say spikes on the end. This guy has it wrapped around his waist or around his body, and he's going with like a GoPro or something in the front. It looks like he's impaled. Yeah, it's but literally,
like, here, hold still.
Yeah, joking aside, the product itself really looks good, and the what it's made out of, what it looks like, really looks like high end stuff.
Yeah, this is really cool. I mean, I love tripods and stuff like that. I mean,
oh yeah,
I don't know. You and I have talked about it before. It's almost like you can never have enough.
God,
tripods.
I don't even know how many I have.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of them. I've got things that I've gotten for review units. I've got things that I've purchased. And you know what? I use them all for one thing or another, you know? Mm-hmm. So I could totally see the need for this.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get our hands on one of these babies and give you a little review on it.
Yeah, do a review on this. This is definitely cool.
Yeah.
So anyways, coming up next week, guys, it will be getting close to 5 years for Digital Photography Cafe.
Yeah.
Getting close. Show number 200. Our bicentennial is coming up, our very next episode. Unbelievable, Trevor. Can you imagine we've been doing this for this long?
200 episodes. That's a lot.
Are we idiots, or what exactly are we doing here?
Yeah, well, on this episode, we're going to kind of, give a little bit of rundown of where we've been and where we've come from, a little bit of background, especially for people who might just be coming into the show for the first time, right. But also kind of where we're going with it, what we're looking to do with it. The show has been growing great. It's been going strong. The community's growing. Our listener base is growing. The audio, we started as an audio show, and that hasn't dissipated. I mean, if anything, it's greatly increased since we first started.
Yeah, I think it was show 53, I want to say, somewhere on there, 52, somewhere in that range. We went to video.
Yep, we started doing video. Yep.
Yeah.
And the show has been growing and growing and growing. And, we definitely want to keep doing it. I mean, this is something that we enjoy, and we want to be able to take to the next level. So in celebration of our 200th episode, we are going to be running a huge giveaway with thousands of dollars worth of prizes.
Yeah, it's actually thousands and thousands and thousands. It's like 3,000 plus.
Yep.
And what we're going to do, guys, is instead of doing, where you see a lot of these giveaways, you get like 100 here and someone else is winning 200 there, and we're not doing that.
No.
We are giving one prize. It's going to be
one big
$3,000 plus dollars, right? Yep. All to one person, period.
All to one person. You're going to get a ton of stuff.
And you'll see that, that the names that we'll kind of talk about next week of all of these people that have provided us all of these prizes are all the big names in the industry, really. And we just thank them. And, for me and for you, just, thinking about it, seeing that people that they view the show and they see the value and the worth, and they provide prizes and they sponsorship and they give. It kind of like warms your heart, because that you're doing a lot of work to create these things, create content, and provide you guys with hopefully good information for the entire photographic community. But seeing that recognition, let's say, it's just awesome. It's just simply awesome.
It is awesome. Yep. And we definitely, I think, have earned the respect of many of the big players within the industry. They like what we do. They support what we do. We've, over the last almost 5 years, we've really connected with a lot of people. I mean, even prior to that, I was out doing newsy stuff and had made some connections. And this networking and things have evolved over the years, and it really has afforded us a lot of great opportunities. And in this case, we'd like to share those fruits of our labor with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely do not miss next episode, because we'll tell you how to enter to win. And it's going to be good. It's definitely going to be good. I'm really excited about it. And like Trevor said, we're going to kind of talk about where we've been, where we are now, and where the show is going, because we have a lot of really great ideas for the up and coming shows. And we hope to be around for another 200. So
sure, absolutely.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
So anyways, we need to get out of here for this week, right?
Yes, we do. All right. So if our listeners and our viewers want to connect with you outside of the show, what is the best way for them to reach you?
They can find me on Twitter, and that's at Joseph Cristina, and that's Cristina without an H.
Great. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Curran.
All right, guys, we are out of here for yet another week. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dphotocafe. And we'll see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Curran and Joseph Cristina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with any compatible device by visiting youtube.com/dphotocafe. Be sure to subscribe to our audio feed through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps or through RSS. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your host.